Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you know every time I upload a new video. Today I'm joined with Connor McKemey, and I am so excited to have him on here today to share his story. It's truly a remarkable story of overcoming adversity in life and putting his best foot forward in everything he does, and just really showing and being a great mentor to so many people, and also enjoying his life passion of lacrosse and so many other amazing things. So please give a warm welcome to Connor here. Thanks, Connor, for being here.
Thank you, JT, man. It's an absolute pleasure.
Awesome. So Connor, I know a little bit of your story, but our listeners have not heard your story at all. And Connor and I had the opportunity of meeting at High Point University, where we went to school there for our 4 years of undergrad. And Connor's also spent some more time there as well, working there and participating with so many great things that are going on the campus there. And so Connor, with that being said, I thought we could just talk a little bit about, I guess, what brought you, to High Point, and what the reason for going to High Point was.
Yeah. So, High Point was a school that really just kind of like fell into my lap. I, at the time, was still getting surgeries done at UNC. So I'm from Charlotte originally, so just right up 85. I would go about once every other month to get some like laser treatments on my scarring, just to like loosen things up. And then if there was any, wear and tear from sports, they would kind of patch me up and do small, skin grafts or whatever I needed just to kind of, piece me together as I was trying to, play some sports. And
yeah,
as we came up and down, my mom had a friend actually that like went to High Point College at the time, and was like, hey, like they're starting a Division I lacrosse team in a few years. Like, why don't we go check out the campus? I heard it's really nice. And we seriously, I think I had surgery in the morning, and we were coming back. And so I was already like a little loopy. But I just remember driving around campus and like seeing a green that I had never seen before. And just how beautiful the buildings looked, and the campus like instantly just was like, oh my goodness, this is like the most amazing place I've ever seen. It definitely spoiled me. I had never been to a college campus at that time yet. So I looked around and was like, holy smokes, this is beautiful. And it was only, an hour, a little more than an hour from my parents' house. I think like an hour and a half. So I knew it was close, and I always had the dream to play Division I sports. Like it's something I always wanted to do, even since I was a little kid. I just loved sports and always wanted to be around it. So when I did a little bit more research and found out that, they were having a lacrosse team, basically my senior year of high school would have been their first season. I was like, man, like it's a good opportunity. Like they're definitely going to need people. I happen to be local. And I was a freshman in high school at the time when I saw this. So I was like, listen, we'll put it up there as a goal. We'll work towards it, and, we'll see what happens. And
that's awesome.
Fortunately. Yeah.
And so Connor, this was a time in both of our lives, college, that was so exciting. And we had, I think, similar experiences of walking on that campus and just being like, this is where I want to go. But you bring up the medical part, and this podcast is all about individual stories and overcoming challenges and more than challenges in life. And we're all faced with them, and it's all about the attitude that you put forward to overcome them. And you certainly have. And with that, I was wondering if you could share a little bit about, what has happened in your life at an earlier age. Obviously, growing up, you had a passion and love for sports, and then you had something that occurred that changed changed your life. But with that, you are doing amazing things and as well. So can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, of course. So when I was in eighth grade, like I said, I was huge into sports. So our middle school was set up to where you would play, football in the fall, and the day it ended, basketball tryouts would start. And then the day that basketball season ended, lacrosse would start. And so I did that all seventh grade, and then you have travel ball during the summer, and then at the end of the summer, he gets back into football workouts and then back into the football season. So by eighth grade, this was, my second year almost of having a practice every single day, having something every single day that just kind of like kept me very structured and routined. And so we got through football season and into basketball season, and we had just reached the halfway point where we go home for a Christmas break and all that. And at the time I was like, really enjoying my life. I mean, I was the quarterback of the football team. I was a big time basketball player and lacrosse player. Obviously, like lacrosse is my passion, but down south is like not something that a lot of people knew. So I was like one of the weird kids playing lacrosse. But other than that, football and basketball is still very popular. So we had a good group of people around me. But I was fortunate to like be playing sports all the time. That kept me very athletic. And I think like that was one of the biggest things that saved me in my accident. So, one night right before, like a couple days before Christmas, we have like this outdoor fireplace. And there was this like really cute girl that I liked that I was, having over, and it was kind of like our first date as like not friends. Like we'd been friends for a couple of years, and now like, trying to see what life is like different. And so I had this great idea. I was like, we have this outdoor fireplace. We'll get some s'mores. I got music, like a little projector to play a movie and all that stuff. A little like hopeless romantic, a little eighth grader. But before she came over, I was like really struggling trying to light the fire. I could not get it, started to save my life. And despite my, best efforts, like nothing was working. And so I, continue to work and work and work, throwing, some paper on there, throwing some newspaper, any kind of wood I could get, anything that would try to light, and I just couldn't. And during this process, like we had a propane tank and a can of gasoline that was, pretty close to the fire that I wasn't really paying attention to. And as I'm continuing to, work on the fire, and you're getting sparks flying up and all sorts of things, the next thing I know, there was just this loud bang. And I just like was surrounded by this like yellow red glow. And I just knew that I was on fire. I mean, it's like if you close your eyes in a well-lit room, I mean, you see the light that's there. But, I couldn't feel anything. But I knew like I was on fire. I started screaming and running towards our house. And before I knew it, I was like put down, towels wrapped around me, and they were, kind of patting out the flames. And for me, it seemed like it was mere seconds. Like I have no concept of how long that actual process occurred. But the next thing I know is just like opening my eyes, and ambulance and police were there. And you just are like looking down at your skin, if I'm laying down on my stomach, and I can just see on my arms and my hands, like how black and charcoal my skin was, where it had been like peeling up from the burns. And again, nobody I knew had ever been burned like this. And it's not something that is very like really common. Mostly because a lot of people, like when they are severely burned, like they either don't make it or their lives are changed so completely. They're bound to wheelchairs or, hospitals for extended periods of times and dealing with all sorts of other things. So like, I had no idea how bad the situation. And I just remember getting put up in the back of the ambulance. And the last thing I asked the guy was, if I'm going to be okay, like, am I going to be alive? And at that point they had put, an IV into my leg and knocked me out. And like, that was pretty much, the end of that night until I ended up waking up a few months later.
Well, Connor, you have certainly overcome so many parts of that challenge, because it's not just the accident, it's not just the recovery, but there's so much more to it. But with that, you also have an amazing outlook on it, and an amazing outlook on life and the people that have supported you and helped you through these things, and your parents as well. How do they get in touch with you? How do they find you on social media? What's your website? Can you fill us in a little bit?
Yeah. So you can check out my website is just macmentality.com. It's macmentality.com. And I have that as a Instagram account, and as a Twitter as well. All under the Mac Mentality brand. And then my personal account is Connor McKemey. But as this next wave comes out, like more stuff is just going to be pushed out on the Mac Mentality. And, similar to you, it's like, I just want to spread a positive message. And if it changes one person's mindset like that, then we're doing what we need to be doing. And like that to me was, after having such a year plus where, the world is completely changed and people are looking for, some kind of positivity or some kind of hope or light at the end of the tunnel. Like I felt like it was a great opportunity to just, branch out and try this thing and, spread this message, which, ultimately is part of my story, but it's stuff that, like I said, I think everybody can relate to, at the end of the day. And with the goal of, like I said, just trying to provide some kind of positive mindset and give some people some belief.
That's awesome. Well, you certainly are doing it, and doing it in a great way. So thank you, Connor.